back at Citizens Bank Park. That's great news. We'll talk about that and the game when we return to Clearwater. Phillies baseball is brought to you by the Toyota Camry, now with available all-wheel drive. Visit your local tri-state Toyota dealer today. By Xfinity, the fastest internet in Philadelphia. By Citizens, official bank of the Phils. And by Independence Blue Cross. Learn more at ibx.com.
Is the number. They're going to be in pods. We're working on the tickets right now. The season ticket office is contacting all of the season ticket holders right now. Full plans first, then partial. It's been 18 months since we've had fans, and so this is great for everybody. Great for the city. Great for the fans. Everything. It's up to us as fans to wear masks because the city is going to demand it, and so it's going to be our employees are going to be continually asked and so forth. But I don't want the fans to kind of screw this up and not wear the mask. We need to wear masks. It is part of the protocol of the city, and they will hold us to it. They're going to do that, and hopefully everything will go smooth. And, if they want to come to games, we're going to wear masks. It's almost kind of that simple.
Phillies Executive Vice President Dave Buck yesterday at the ballpark. First of all, it was nice to see a press conference at the ballpark. That was pretty cool. And then Dave talking about the opportunity for fans, 8,800 to start, being at Citizens Bank Park. You can see a little more than 2,000 on hand in Clearwater at Baycare Ballpark. They just got a chance to see the anthem from Kimberly Conrad, and it was really great yesterday listening to Dave talk about the opportunity to have fans and the potential for that to keep growing even as the year goes on. So, as he said, you have to wear your mask for the city to make sure that they keep fans coming to the ballpark.
It's just great to have people in the stands at all. I mean, the players just they're just not used to it. I mean, obviously last year was a different type of a year, but I'm sure they're excited to have the fans back and to have the juice flowing again.
Take a look at the lineup for the Yankees today. Over from Tampa, brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest internet in Philadelphia. Mike Tauchman is leading it off in center field. So then you have Urshela, Vogt, and then Clint Frazier. Now these are guys that it's important to note are going to be part of the Phillies, or part of the Yankees roster for the 2021 season. There is Matt Moore. Phillies hope that he can establish himself as a left-hander in this starting rotation. He said it was difficult to leave Japan because they were so good last year, but this was an opportunity, one of a handful of major league opportunities that he had, but he decided to take this one because the Phillies were the most competitive, he said, and ready to win.
Yeah, no question about it, and they really do need that help at the bottom of that rotation. Eflin threw really well the other day, and it's nice to see him get off to a good start. And it'll be really interesting to see who really lands and becomes that fourth and fifth starter here for this rotation.
Yeah, because tomorrow we'll see Chase Anderson. Today we'll see Vince Velasquez behind Matt Moore. So those are guys that are competing right now for the spots in this rotation. The first pitch of the day is in there for a strike. We're underway. The acting manager for the Yankees for today is Carlos Mendoza, the pitching coach. We want to send our best out to our buddy Aaron Boone, who's recovering from surgery that he had last night to put a pacemaker in. Watching the press conference yesterday, he was in great spirits. It was something I think that he knew that might come down the road, and we're just hoping that he is back in the dugout by next week, which is where they anticipated.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about it. I remember when he was just a kid, 5, 6 years old, shagging balls out there at Veterans Stadium with Tuck McGraw and his brother Aaron, or excuse me, his brother Brett. But now he's the manager of the Yankees. Hopefully things turn around quickly for him.
1-2 pitch, swung on and missed. That's a good start for Matt Moore as Tauchman is down on strikes and one away here in the first inning.
Yeah, that's one of his bread and butter pitches right there, that breaking ball. It's a dandy. He's got great rotation on it. Maybe one of the best breaking balls rotation-wise that there is in all baseball. And if he can throw that consistently like that against those lefties, he's going to be real effective.
Here's Gio Urshela. Urshela last year, 298 with 6 home runs and 30 runs batted in. Today is the 3-month anniversary of Urshela getting a bone chip out of his elbow. This was the day he targeted to be back. Not many guys are able to hit that target when it comes to those injuries, and he obviously is back today for the first time.
Yeah, clubs are very conservative these days. They really try to protect that asset, and not very often do you have guys come back on time.
No. 1 ball and 1 strike to Urshela.
Urshela really has established himself as a heck of a third baseman. I mean, defensively, he's always been very good, and then he's really basically come out of his shell offensively in New York.
And by the way, that's the changeup that Ruben alluded to in the open for Matt Moore, how it just floated away on the outside part of the plate.
Yeah, that's the pitch it really has to have that good, strong 3-pitch mix.
Out to center field, and Scott Kingery is there. 2 outs.
Number 59, Luke Voigt.
I had a chance to talk to Jorge Velandia a little bit about how he's been throwing. I talked to him a day or so ago, and he's real impressed with that arm, and you know, he's been throwing pretty effectively. He's been outstanding in his bullpens. I'm excited to see how he throws.
Here's Luke Voigt, who last year 22 home runs, led the American League, 52 runs batted in. He became the first Yankee since Mickey Mantle to have 20 home runs in his first 50 games in a season.
Is that a lot?
Amazing. Off the end of the bat, this is a good inning. Second base, and Maton is under it, makes the catch. How about that for a quick first inning for Matt Moore? Scheduled to throw 2 today. He's on this pace, he can throw 7. Phillies coming up for the first time when we get back. the first inning. Joe Girardi's team got a win yesterday. That was nice to see. Got also a great outing from Zach Eflin in yesterday's ball game. Let's look at his lineup for today, brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest internet in Philadelphia. Adam Hazley is in left field today. Rhys Hoskins, welcome back, Rhys Hoskins. His first start, DHing this afternoon. Scott Kingree's in center. Alec Boehm is over at third. Odubel Herrera is in right field. C.J. Chatham is at shortstop. Then you got Mathis, Maton, and Luke Williams. Williams is scheduled to play the whole game today and will switch over to third base at one point. And they're facing right-hander Davy Garcia. This young man's got some ability. He's not a big dude at all, but he has got a lively fastball and a really good breaking pitch, too.
Wow, does he have a big arm. Yeah, he's a diminutive right-hander, but he's 93 to 97 with a big hammer curveball, power curveball, and he's got a little bit of a slider. It's not his best pitch. I think he's working on that third pitch, that changeup. It's really improved. But you know, they have big plans for this young man. I think he's going to be battling for one of the rotation spots with the Yanks as well. They've got a lot of depth in position player-wise, but they do have some pitching depth as well.
Just 21 years old. He'll face Adam Hazley to start things off. Hayes last year did not have a home run in the abbreviated schedule and hit one in his first at bat the other day in Lakeland the opposite way. And the first pitch is fouled back. It's 0-1.
And they've talked about him putting on a little extra muscle and adding a little bat speed to his, and flattening out his swing a little bit more so that he gets a little bit more airborne with his approach. But you know, he's in that middle of the battle, baby.
Breaking ball, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, Joe Girardi told us the other day, and he even reiterated this when we had a conference call with Dave Dombrowski and Sam Fuld, that the center fielders that are battling for those positions, you will see in other spots in the outfield. And today, Hazley's playing left field, and Odubel Herrera, who's also in that battle, is playing right field.
Yeah, one of the difficulties in spring training is just getting reps and really getting your eyes on guys. And you know, you evaluate all spring long, but I think the most important time is the last couple of weeks when pitchers are really throwing the ball much better and they're much sharper.
Urshela is able to throw out Hazley. I don't know if he's going to be able to use that bat again, Ruben.
I think he got it off the end there a little bit.
And here's Rhys Hoskins. How good is it to see Rhys Hoskins back after having surgery to that UCL, his non-throwing arm, and that's why he's got the pad on that elbow. Talked to Rhys the other day, and he said, I have a couple more hurdles to clear. The hope was the end of the week, and here we are, DHing today.
Yeah, great to see him back in there again, and had a chance to talk to Joe Dillon about him, and he said he's picked up right after where he ended up last year. It's really nice to see Rhys utilize the entire field again. He was kind of a dead pull guy for quite some time, and he's using the entire field. He said his BPs have been just absolutely outstanding.
Check swing. He went, says Phil Cuzzy. It's 0-2. This is what you learn about rehab. I thought it was funny the other day when Rhys was talking, and he said, yeah, I had to clear the hurdle of diving in the field. And I think everybody was kind of taken aback. So they were hitting him ground balls where he had to dive to make sure he could land on that elbow without any problems. So Larry Bowa was hitting him ground balls where he would get the uniform dirty.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you see that base stealers, the guys who have broken their hands, you know, sliding in head first, that they have to, that's one of the last hurdles, you know, make sure that they feel comfortable being able to do those movements, you know, in game.
Would never, ever have thought about that. 0-2 to Rhys.
A lot goes into this thing, getting people ready to play.
Had a fastball at 94 miles an hour. That one had a little extra sauce on it, and there are 2 outs.
Batting third, number 4, Scott Kingery.
Yeah, this young man's he's only 5'9", but he can really bring it. Good life up into the zone right here, and a good 2-strike pitch.
All right, so Garrett Cole, he's established, right, Ruben? Garrett Cole, he's there.
He's okay.
Kluber pitched really well yesterday for the Yankees. Then you got Tyone over from the Pirates, Montgomery, Garcia. You also have Schmidt, Herman, Chacin that could be in the mix for the Yankees.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of. There are some question marks there with Kluber coming back from the injury, and it's not the dominant, you know, type of rotation that you typically see. So there are some question marks. So these guys like David Garcia are going to have to step up and be, be effective for them.
Kluber yesterday, 22 pitches, 15 strikes, 2 innings of work, 3 strikeouts. So he looked pretty good.
If he's healthy, he had one of the best sliders in all of baseball with Cleveland and was one of the best pitchers in baseball.
1 ball and 1 strike to Scott Kingery. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
One of the residual effects of not having played a lot of baseball last year is that some guys, particularly pitchers, they can come back, take their time, get well rested. I guess there's a fine line between the work and rest, but some of these guys who are coming off injuries, it may have benefited some of them.
2-2 to Kingery. Speaking of injuries, last year he was stricken with COVID before summer camp began, and he just was never the same. This year he's come in lighter. He's not as bulked up as he was. He thinks that'll be an advantage. Hooks this one down the left field line. If it's fair, it's gone. It is gone. Just to the foot of Frenchie's Tiki Bar. That's a line drive, and that's what you like to see from Scott Kingery. And the Phillies jump out to a 1-0 lead.
The good thing about this is it's a 2-strike changeup, and he stays on this thing and drives it out. You saw him shorten up on his bat a little bit, stays on this pitch, drifts back into the middle of the plate. I don't think that's where Garcia wanted it, but he smoked it. Really nice piece of hitting. Ball down and in. Almost a no stride right there with the 2-strike approach, and put a really good swing on it.
So 1-0 Phillies as Bohm rolls over on 1, and Wade able to throw him out. Side is retired. Phillies, though, strike first. They get the home run from Kingery. 1-0 Phillies as we go to the second. After a quick top of the first inning, Matt Moore back to work. He'll face Clint Frazier as we begin the second. At a first pitch fastball. It's in there, 0-1.
You'll see a lot of these names here. These guys can really swing the bat. They've got a lot of depth offensively, and you start talking about, we don't even have Stanton here. We don't have Judge. There's so many guys, with so much depth that they have. I mean, even our man Jay Bruce is on this club. He's kind of signed as an afterthought, so to speak. So they've got a lot of offensive thunder over there.
Made a great catch the other day in left field. In the dirt. Clint Frazier should be the starting left fielder for the Yankees this year. Former first-round pick of the Indians, had 8 home runs, 26 runs batted in last year. I think this is a good test for Matt Moore right out of the gate to face at least the first 5 or 6 hitters in this Yankees lineup. And it's upstairs, so it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
No, he's facing some really good right-handed hitters. I mean, you're talking about Urshela, Voit, Frazier, Andujar. They can swing the bat.
And a call, strike 3. 92 on that fastball.
Really good pitch right here. And I think this is one of the things that he was working on when he was in Japan is utilizing this glove side fastball, getting in on right-handers more consistently. That makes his breaking stuff, his changeup, so much more effective. And if he can do that consistently, he's going to have a lot of success.
Yeah, he said that he and his wife made the decision to go to Japan as that ball is hit in the air to center field. Kingery ventures back. He's under it. And he makes the catch. He made the decision to go to Japan in November of 2019. So it was long before the pandemic. And he said the reason was he felt like going to Japan was his opportunity to get consistent work. And as it turned out, it was great foresight on his part because he got consistent work. And he also said that in Japan, a starter works every 6 days. So you have 1 start a week. So he knew coming back from the knee injury that part would help him just to kind of reestablish himself.
Yeah, it completely makes sense, and you got to respect a man who has to go basically across the world to reestablish himself, and that's real interesting stuff. I mean, you have to respect that, and hopefully the Phillies will benefit from it.
All right, if you like behind the home plate shots, Ruben, I know you do. It's called the All 9. This is what we're going to be showing for a little while because we're having some technical difficulties with some of the other cameras, but you can see the game. And the count is 1-1 strike to Higashioka, and a changeup outside, who last year established himself as Garrett Cole's personal catcher.
Yeah, Higashioka is an outstanding defensive catcher. Starting to come onto his own a little bit offensively as well.
2-2.
Kind of froze him on that changeup inside right there. So he's utilizing all his pitches, and that's exactly what you want to do, I think, and that's probably what he's been working on.
Check swing. Did he go? No, this is Tom Hallion. He talked, and you know, Jake Arrieta spent a few years with the Phillies talking about this too, about tempo. But Matt Moore said that is what he needs from the get-go, is a certain tempo to his motion. And he felt like he had that all of last year in Japan, and a couple of close pitches, a couple of check swings.
It looked like there could have been a strike both ways.
Batting seventh, number 14, Tyler Wade, shortstop.
Yeah, and one of the things that it's just like a hitter, you have to get your rhythm. You got to feel your rhythm, and that's one of the things that the pitchers are always working to get to while they're in spring training. There's a just like any golfer, you have to have this certain sort of rhythm when you're performing, and that's very true of pitching and hitting.
Here's Tyler Wade with a runner at first base. And that one is bounced over the head of Luke Williams down the right field line. Phil Nevin is waving Higashioka home. The throw to the plate on one hop. He is out of home plate. Great catch and tag by Mathis, and a really good exchange on the cutoff to get the final out here in the second inning.
Yeah, Tom, this is outstanding. Great job of fundamental baseball right there.
Bottom of the second, it's 1-0 Phillies thanks to a home run by Scott Kingery, as Odubel Herrera is getting set to lead things off. Let's take a look at that play. It was Odubel that started it. He read it well in the corner, and then watch the ball come flying out.
Really great job by everybody fundamentally here. I mean, this is this kind of stuff you work on in spring training. I'm sure Joe is real happy with it. Perfect relay throw both ways. 2 perfect throws. Excellent one hop throw. Mathis with a super tag. That's the way you're supposed to get it done. That's the way you dry it up.
Yeah, Maton, who's usually a shortstop, playing over at second base today, one of the Phillies prospects. I said that Odubel played it well. It looked like he did from our vantage point, but he may have sprawled around a little bit before he grabbed it, but he still kept his composure to make that throw.
Yeah, difficult play down that corner. You don't know where the ball's going to kick back off, so he stayed with it, made a nice throw to the cutoff man, and did their job.
So we go to the bottom of the second. Davy Garcia will face Herrera. Odubel, who made his first start the other day in Dunedin. And before that start, he addressed some of the players before who were in Dunedin with the Phillies about his domestic violence situation that caused him to miss all of last year. And then he met with the media on Zoom, speaking in English, his second language, as he hits that one in the air to right field. It's pretty well hit. Going back on it is Brito, and it is gone. Way out of the ballpark for Odubel Herrera. His first home run of the spring, his second hit, and the Phillies are on top 2-0.
Yeah, Tom, he gets a high piece of cheese and just drops the head on it, believe it or not. That's not an easy swing for left-handers. Usually their power zone is down and in. This is a fastball up, a little bit in, and he gets to it quickly. High fastball with a lot of life, and he just tomahawks it out of here. Gotta love the bat flip. He's right. He's almost in midseason form there.
That part of it has not changed for Odubel. But he did speak to the media the other day and talked about the incident that occurred in Atlantic City in 2019 that caused him to have an 85-game suspension and miss all of last year too.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that he went through that. It does seem that he's maturing. The fact that he even spoke to the media in English because he had been reluctant to do that.
And that was his choice.
Yep.
That ball is lined into right field, and a diving play by Brito to rob C.J. Chatham, I believe, of a base hit. Chatham was looking around.
Really nice piece of staying inside this ball right here. Nice line drive, easy stroke. Unfortunately, that's that's what happens in spring training.
Hit it right on the nose.
Sometimes that's the beauty of spring training. You hit a ball right on the screws and you don't get a hit. You don't even have to run the bases.
Nice play by Brito.
Sure was.
And now Jeff Mathis, and he takes outside. What Odubel said the other day, just to kind of wrap that up, because we'll have plenty of time to talk about it as spring goes on, because he is going to compete for a roster spot for the Phillies. He said, I feel sorry because I made a big mistake. I know people are not going to forgive me, and I understand that. But I spent the last several years earning Melanie's trust back. And he said that was the most important part of this, was earning her trust back. And I am grateful because she forgave me. And now I would like to have the same opportunity with my teammates, our fans, and the Phillies family.
He hasn't quite had the opportunity to talk to the rest of the club because of the COVID situation.
He had hoped to do it today, he said.
I think he wanted to do that at some point.
Yeah, because he is a part of the satellite crew right now.
Yes.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Mathis. Played with Texas last year. Outstanding defensive catcher. Inside 2-2. Longtime friend of JT Realmuto from when they were in the Marlins organization together.
Yeah, Mathis has been around, and he's really an excellent catcher who's giving them some depth. It'll be interesting to see if he'll actually go to AAA if in fact he does not make this club.
Swing and a miss, and that's the second strikeout for Garcia.
Realmuto with his hand situation, not quite sure whether he's going to be ready for opening day. They believe that he's going to be ready, but it's nice to have Jeff Mathis there to give them a little bit of depth there.
Yeah, if the schedule remains on pace, then JT was going to get it reevaluated today. Here's Nick Maton, who's 1 for 4 so far this spring. And a big breaking ball, and it's 0-1.
That's just not fair this early in spring training. First pitch breaking ball, first strike like that.
See Maton's career in the minor leagues. 24 years old. Solid defender at shortstop, playing second base today.
Not sure whether he's going to end up being an everyday type player, but he's got some versatility and can do some things defensively. He handles the bat a little bit.
Swing and a miss. 3 strikeouts for Garcia. He allows 2 home runs in his outing this afternoon, including one by Odubel Herrera. 2-0 Phils. We go to the third. We're excited to welcome fans back to Citizens Bank Park. The 2020 season will kick off with a limited capacity of 8,800 fans per game. Phillies season ticket holders will be given the first opportunity to purchase tickets this year. The public on sale, the public tickets will go on sale with limited availability for select home games on Friday, March 12th. Now, we want to invite you to visit Phillies.com. For more information, you can always go to Phillies.com to get any updated statistics or info. But for this case in point, it would be helpful just to follow at Phillies.com. Here's Vince Velasquez. Last year, Vince, 9 games, bullpen starter, 1-1. He is still battling for a starting role.
A really big spring for him as well. I mean, this is his free agent year, so he's going to have to pitch well and to earn his spot. It sounds like if he does not make the rotation, he's got a pretty good chance of being in the pen. Perhaps as a long guy, but I'm sure Vinny wants to try to establish himself as maybe one of the 4th or 5th starters.
He'll face Socrates Brito, who last was in the big leagues with the Blue Jays in 19. Had a pitch on the outside corner, 0-1. Yeah, we asked Dave Dombrowski. In fact, Larry Anderson asked him when we had our conference call about Vince and whether this was really his last chance, because he's been given so many opportunities. And Dave said, well, he's a free agent at the end of this year. He said, so he'll dictate whether he's going to get an opportunity for an extended period of time this year. And it's true. This is the final year before the Phillies can just cut ties with him without any issues.
Yeah, just by virtue of the fact of the rules. I mean, this is his final year and his free agent year, as I said. And it's never been about the arm strength for Vinny. We've talked about this many times. It's really about his consistency, being able to carve up the strike zone and do it on a consistent basis.
How hard is it, Ruben, because you have the ability to give the insight on this, for an executive, a guy like Vince Velasquez?
It is difficult. I guess, the numbers don't lie eventually. He throws an excellent fastball right here. If he can dot this spot right here on a consistent basis, he'll have a lot of success. A nice little movement to it at the end. Nice free and easy delivery. Good finish. But we'll see this in Vince, and he'll do that, for, a few outings or a few batters, and then he'll revert back into using the middle of the strike zone, and that's where he gets himself in trouble.
Chatham with a nice play to his left.
But to answer your question, it is tough to give up on guys like that, but they dictate. They'll tell you exactly what kind of player they are by their performance, and it's a performance-oriented job when you're evaluating these players in the front office. And if the guy's not performing, and you're trying to win baseball games, then you may not be around too long.
Here's Thairo Estrada. And a pitch inside, 1 ball and no strikes. Excuse me, Tachman. Estrada just grounded out.
Correct.
I was looking at him thinking, boy, he looks a lot like the guy that led off the game. He struck out his first time, 30 years old. Last year, no homers, 14 runs batted in for Aaron Boone, but the year before, he had 13 home runs.
A pretty good looking hitter, and a guy from the left side that's probably battling even Jay Bruce at this point for an extra job in the outfield for them. He's got some versatility, can play all 3 outfield positions.
Pulls that one over to first, and an easy play for Luke Williams, and an easy inning for Vince Velasquez. Yankees go down 1-2-3. We'll head to the bottom of the 3rd. 2-0 Phillies. Phillies baseball is brought to you by your local Delaware Valley Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Del Val Honda dealer or visit DelValHondaDealers.com. 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the third. Phillies hope Bryce Harper will be in the lineup sometime in the next couple of days. What we did see today was the first outing for Matt Moore, and he was excellent. 23 pitches, comfortable from the get-go. This is Tachman, who he gets on strikes to begin the outing with a pretty good breaking ball. Voit hits this one off the end of the bat. That was the pop-up that ended the first inning. And then Frazier, he gets looking on strikes. Those are the first 4 hitters, and Matt Moore joins us down in Clearwater. Matt, Tom McCarthy, and Ruben Amaro, congratulations on a really good start to spring training. That must have been pretty comfortable out there.
Hey guys, thanks. Yeah, you know, it's always the first one. You know, you're just trying to get back in the groove of it and trying to have baseball thoughts. And we had a beautiful day, and you know, looking forward to watching the rest of this one.
Hey Matt, it's Ruben Amaro. Welcome to the Phillies, and congrats on a great outing. Any jitters for you pitching with the new uniform?
Not this week. I think last week I kind of got that out of the way. You know, when you look down and you see a different color on your chest or on your cleats. But it's been great. You know, I know a few guys here with Miller and Harper, and played against a lot of these guys and Didi and Kutch before. So it's nice to be on the same side.
Oh, outstanding. What were you working on today? Anything in particular?
Just, you know, really, to be honest, I wanted to get ahead of guys. So it wasn't anything special. I'm throwing 3 pitches. You know, really, I just wanted to attack and not feel like I was getting behind guys. I just wanted to pitch from a position ahead of guys, and I think we did that today.
Asher Wojciechowski just got a pop-up for the first out here in the third. Matt, you talked about tempo and how important it is. Is that hard to find at the beginning of spring training?
Sometimes, you know, it depends on what's going on through your head. You know, right now my thoughts are pretty minimum. You know, it's just a couple triggers, and so it's a little bit easier to have, you know, find a good rhythm in the windup. You know, and our catchers here are great, and it's been nice to get to know them and get more comfortable with them over the last couple weeks.
Yeah, man, I think this is probably the first time you've engaged with Caleb Cotham. Anything in particular or a different message that you've heard from him than you've heard from other pitching coaches?
No, nothing really, you know, crazy different. You know, I think Caleb's got a pretty fresh perspective of what it's like to be a player. So, you know, I'm sure over the course of the season, you know, there will be differences, but, you know, just in general, I think he's kind of taken the same approach most pitching coaches do, is you kind of want to let a guy work and, you know, see the way he's working around the mound on his work days or game days. You know, so right now I'd say we're just kind of in the building stage of a relationship, but so far, you know, I like the things we're talking about. You know, the ideas of some things to do in the bullpen have been really cool, so I'm looking forward to it.
You know, Matt, I thought it was great the other day when you met with the media and we were asking you about playing in Japan. I thought some of your answers were outstanding. What did you learn most over there that you think can help you as you reestablish yourself over in the States?
It's hard to pick one, but, you know, one thing that I did today, you know, that I think maybe 2 years ago would have been a little different, is just getting comfortable throwing pitches in different counts. You know, we all have tendencies and, you know, beliefs and things that, you know, biases off our own experience with the hitters in the box. So, you know, I'm more comfortable throwing off-speed pitches, you know, in certain counts. You know, that's probably one of the biggest things that I picked up over there was just getting unique with the sequencing.
Yeah, man, I got a chance to watch you pitch from the other side when I was coaching in Boston, and you had really, really great stuff when you were in Tampa Bay, and we're looking forward to watching you reestablish yourself here in Philadelphia.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, I'm happy to be here and looking forward to getting the season going.
Matt, thanks, buddy. We'll talk to you again at some point in the next couple weeks.
Sure. Nice talking to you guys.
All right. Matt Moore, who today 23 pitches in just 2 innings of work, threw a lot of strikes. What he said about throwing some of his secondary pitches in hitters counts, I think that's really interesting. The other thing he talked about is Rhys Hoskins smokes one to deep left center field. Tauchman going back toward the well, makes the catch, and the inning is over. Matt Moore also talked about fielding his position and how much he learned over there about fielding his position over here. That was a great sign on a sweet swing from Rhys Hoskins, even though it was an out. We'll go to the 4th. It's 2-0 Phillies. Get the latest stories, stats, videos, and more. All of your Phillies content in one place at bcsportsphiladelphia.com. Along with Ruben Amaro, I'm Tom McCarthy. Phillies are up 2-0. They got a couple home runs, almost had a third. Rhys Hoskins with a nice swing. Tauchman was able to track that down against Asher Wojciechowski. We go to the top of the 4th inning. Matt Moore was able to throw 2 scoreless innings for the Phillies. And now Vince Velasquez trying to do the same thing. He looked good in his first inning.
Excellent. Moved the pitches around the strike zone, threw strikes, kept the ball down. Early contact. All good signs.
He'll face Gio Urshela, who popped out his first time up, and a sinker, and it's 0-1.
Like I said, Tom, if he keeps down in that area right there with the life in his fastball, he's gonna really establish himself.
No balls and 1 strike. At a play, and it's 0-2. I think what you mentioned before is that Velasquez, to earn a spot on this roster, it doesn't have to be as a starter. You know, Dave Dombrowski and Joe Girardi both let us know that it could be in the bullpen. Because the Phillies have Matt Moore, who pitched today, and also tomorrow Chase Anderson is scheduled to start. So they have veterans who they could use in the rotation in the number 4 and 5 spot if they want to. And then, of course, Spencer Howard. But there's some paint on the outside part of the plate. Second strikeout for Velasquez.
Yeah, beautiful pitch in the outside part. He's using the inside part of the plate, the outside part of the plate, glove side, arm side. If he continues to do that, he's got a chance to really battle for one of these starting rotation spots. You know, they're going to need about 8, 10, maybe even 12 starters during the course of the year, Tom. And that's one of the reasons why holding on to a guy like Vinny becomes a little bit more valuable. Even if he doesn't, you know, take his place in the rotation.
Here's Voit. He popped out to second his first time up. One ball and no strikes. And time is called. Voit, who hails from the same high school in the St. Louis area as Ryan Howard and David Freese.
Really?
It's at foul. It's 1-1.
It's pretty good ball players right there. David Freese had a very underrated, excellent career in the major leagues.
Well, he must have been a heck of a high school player. Ground ball left side. And Chatham gobbles it up. 2 outs. Stream every regular season game live or on demand with MLB.tv online or on your favorite supported devices, as well as select spring training games. Blackouts and other restrictions do apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Yeah, Vinny's really filling up the strike zone with his entire repertoire, which is a really good sign this early.
Yeah, the fastball has ranged 91 to 94, but it's got really good movement on it. Starts Clint Frazier off with a changeup.
He's a little firm on the changeup, but he's throwing it for strikes. He's thrown a couple of them now, and it's in the 87, 88 range, which is a little firm. He probably wants to take something a little bit more off of that, but he is throwing it over the plate.
1-1. Mentioned that Frazier will be the everyday left fielder for the Yankees. They've got a plethora of outfielders, and the re-addition of Brett Gardner is going to help that bench as well. The 1-1 outside, 2-1.
Pretty good breaking ball right there, just missed. Yeah, they sure do have a lot of outfielders.
Yeah.
No question about that. They're chock full of those.
Well, you figure with Frazier, Brett Gardner, Aaron Hicks, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, most likely be the designated hitter, but still could play the outfield if need be. Tauchman, and the list goes on and on.
And there's some talk. There was some talk about putting Miguel Andujar out there in the outfield as well.
Wow, that was a nice pitch on the outside part of the plate. 3 strikeouts for Vince Velasquez. That's a solid 2 innings. Nothing across for the Yankees. We're on to the bottom of the 4th. 2-0 Phillies. Vince Velasquez outstanding today, following up Matt Moore, who was also solid for the Phillies. Velasquez had a nice tight fastball, 3 strikeouts, also got this ground ball. Nothing was hit on the barrel by the Yankees. In fact, there wasn't much hit at all by the Yankees. I mean, that's right there. That paint on the outside part of the plate. This pitch to Frazier. And Joe, we're setting you up beautifully with these highlights of Vince Velasquez, because you had 2 really good pitchers today so far.
Yeah, we did, and it matched up what we did yesterday too, with Eflin and Nova. So you win with pitching. I mean, offense is great, and I love offense, and I love to, drop big numbers on the score. But you win with pitching, and this is what I love to see.
Was Moore what you expected? Just the way I thought his tempo was really good.
Yeah, and his fastball had some life to it too. I haven't seen him pitch in a couple of years, and it was really good to see. So, I mean, he got up to 94 today. Vinny was up to 96. I mean, that's great. This time of year, that's really good.
Yeah, nice to see Vinny filling up the strike zone today with pretty much all of his pitches.
Yeah, he was ahead in the count, and then he made some, it looked like a 3-1 changeup to Frazier, and then he got him froze him with a fastball. So, Vinny, a solid outing, and we just continue to build off of all these.
Yeah, and you mentioned
make my job really, really hard.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Eflin. We didn't see the game yesterday. I listened to it, but the Tigers announcers were raving about his sinker yesterday. Well, everything yesterday, the way he threw the baseball.
Yeah, his changeup was really good yesterday. He used his curveball, but his sinker was fantastic. He was locating it really well. And there's, I believe there's such a huge upside with F, and I think he really started to shine last year, and I think he's just going to move forward and even be better.
Hey, Joe, you can almost see the confidence building every time he gets on the mound now.
Oh, I think so. I think he understands who he is now. I think sometimes it takes a while for people to figure it out. His changeup has really developed to go along with the sinker, the curveball, and his slider, and he's got weapons, a lot of weapons.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Scott Kingery. All right, so you got a couple of homers today too. Kingery hit one of them on that changeup his first time up. That was a pretty nice sign that he was able to recognize with a very little stride in his offering.
Yeah, that you can stay back and hit that. That means that I really believe that your approach is correct, that you're not so far out in front of it. So, you know, Scotty is continuing, and this is really a good at bat too. I mean, I know it ends up in a pop-up that they may not catch. Yeah, I mean, this isn't easy.
Is it really windy? Well, there you go, Joe.
Wow, Nostradamus. Nostradamus.
Well, as we know, this sun in the sky today is not fun.
Really?
Like, if I'm catching today, I'm pointing. I want no pop-ups today. Zero.
That's an awfully high sky right there.
We're also showing the flags. The flags are moving pretty good too. Yeah,
and it only takes a little bit of change to get out of the pocket of your glove, and that's how you miss it.
Well, you got a base runner in scoring position. Alec Boehm is coming up. He grounded out his first time up. Joe, I asked you about Alec the other day after the postgame in Dunedin because I had seen the highlights of those defensive plays that he made. Really solid to be able to charge and barehand and throw on the run like he did the other day.
Yeah, I think he's made a lot of improvement too. He went to his left. He ranged far to his left. A tough play to his right. I mean, they were testing him. There were a lot of like toppers, and you know, he got a speedy runner in the slow roller to him. So, God, I thought he played great. And you know, I think about last year what he was able to do and how he responded. You know, defensively, he continued to get better. But these are the situations that he shined in. Runners in scoring position.
Yes,
doing his job. He was great at it, and he understands how to hit the situations and the counts. And, you know, he's got himself in a really good spot. So I hope he knows that I've given him the green light.
Well, Alex certainly.
He can probably hear me.
He probably could hear you.
Alec has a really advanced approach, and in this situation, would you rather have him drive the ball, or would you rather have him move the runner?
No, I want him to try to drive the ball in the gaps. If you hit a sac fly to left center or right center, I'm good with it. But that's his approach, right? I mean, that's what he does. And I was asking him about it today, and he was talking about, you know, when he went to Wichita State, he was a pole monster, and they had a hitting coach there that was really good. And I apologize, I don't recall his name, but talked to him about approach, and it changed his approach. And I said, man, you had a good hitting coach when you were young then, because you have a great approach.
Yeah, that's certainly rare to have a guy go from being dead pull to being a guy. It's much easier to go the other way, right?
Yes.
Here's Odubel, who takes on the off the outside part of the plate. Joe, you had a great answer about Odubel the other day, where you referenced your conversation with Joe Torre. And Odubel has come into camp in great shape, hit that home run before. And I think that's a good sign physically that he looks like he's in shape. But he had a conversation with the media the other day where I thought he handled himself extremely well, too. But I thought your comment and the advice you sought from Joe Torre was really good the other day.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Joe and I talked about it because Joe has obviously lived it, and his foundation, Safe at Home, is all about that. And the first thing that you have to do is you have to make sure that the person understands what he did, and that, you know, they feel sorry about what they did. They're contrite, and you know that it's not acceptable. And I think that Odubel has really grown in these 2 years. And I didn't really know Odubel before, but from what everyone has talked about, he's reached out to the media. He's reached out to his teammates. He's been a model citizen. I hear people say that it's the best shape that he's been in years. So I think he knows that, you know, I really messed up, and I got to do this right. You only get so many chances in life.
Yep.
And I think he's trying to take advantage of it.
Yeah, Joe, I guess he addressed the club before the game the other day. Did he do the same? I know that he sounds remorseful, obviously, and no question about that. But has he addressed the rest of the club, I guess?
He did. He did today. He addressed the rest of the club today because we could all get together. And you know, it was hard, and things move really fast, right? And he was great again today. So he's taken the necessary steps. And you know, we've talked about, you know, there are situations that happen in people's lives that they form opinion on, you know, how they are going to respond to what Odubel did. That's a good piece of hitting too.
Yeah, the other way. That's going to get a run home. Oh no, Kingery actually had a hold up, so he's going to stop at third.
Yeah, another really good piece.
Smartly.
Another really good piece of hitting there. Breaking ball, he stayed back on. 2-strike situation.
High
just
too,
it.
right?
Yep.
And he didn't try to do too much.
Nope.
So, so there's situations that happen in your life that help you form your opinions about certain things, right? So some people may never forgive Odubel. Some people might take longer than others. Some people, are forgiving, and you got to prove yourself again to us, and you got to earn the trust of us back. So Odubel has to concentrate on being a better person every day, earning the trust of his teammates, the fans back, the organization, and most important, continuing to grow with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
As people. And I think he's taken the necessary steps, and he's really trying, and he's really remorseful about what happened.
Well, that was a good piece of hitting there, and he was part of. You've talked about fundamentals a lot, Joe, in the 2 years that we've gotten to know you. You had a fundamentally sound relay to the plate to get an out in that first inning. Was that something that you were happy to see?
Well, what he did is he did a great job of cutting the ball off, and it looked like he ran into the wall pretty hard. And I was worried that, that he maybe got hurt, but he slid in the rocks. There was no fear. He sacrificed his body a little bit and cut the ball off, and that was the difference in the play. If the play gets to the corner past him, it's an easy run. And then they lined up the relay. You get a good throw by Maton. He takes it and gets rid of it. Just a perfect play.
And I would think as a catcher, you appreciated the tag, too. It was a pretty athletic play by Mathis at the plate.
Yeah, and you appreciate that nice hop, right? You want that long hop. You don't want that short hop, right? And just all-around good play by three different players.
Yeah, we're seeing the replay right now.
And that's what
Joe.
you want to see.
We're seeing the replay right now, and actually, they did it absolutely perfectly. The tag play, the relay, right on the nose. I think Juan Castro is probably pretty happy about that, huh?
Yeah, and after you score a run, you want to shut them down. We talk about that all the time, the importance of shutting them down. And it's not exactly how you draw it up. You hope that Matt Moore gets 3 outs real quick and you get back out there. But we shut them down. And the next inning we score a run again, and you try to add on here, and this is good baseball.
Yeah. Well, the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes to C.J. Chatham, who lined out his first time up, hit the ball well.
Oh, this ball's hit, guys.
That's going to be off the wall. I thought that was going to carry out.
Oh, get back, Chatty. Oh, gosh.
Fortunately, nobody's covering first.
It looks like he's limping a little bit.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah, if I have to go out there, I'll come back to you.
Okay.
Well, Joe, people are probably going to ask why, indeed, that there's still bases loaded here and the other guy didn't score. Can you explain to them why, in a no-out situation, why it ended up as it did?
Yeah, with nobody out, Alex can't get caught in no man's land where he's not able to get the third if it's caught. So he has to kind of hang around the bag, go back to the bag and tag. And then, Tauchman did a good job of getting the ball right back in. That's the difference. So, the one thing that you don't want is him standing on second with 1 out. You want him to get to third because it allows for the sac fly or a lot of different things. So the Yankees played it very well, and I thought our base runners did a good job too.
And Chatham looks like he's okay. I think he may have tweaked his ankle.
He's limping a little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
We're showing it
to
now.
me.
When he put the brakes on, that's where he may have turned it a little.
So I've often wondered why more guys don't slide when they put the brakes on, right? Because that stops you. And then you can pop right back up and turn around. I just don't think it's instinctual. But I've always thought that's the best way to slow down.
That's true. It's probably something that they haven't learned at any level, so it's tough for them to pick it up as they get into the professional ranks.
It's also something
right.
that
I think you have to have unbelievable instincts to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's something you just don't work on. It's just something you just don't. Something that's not worked on.
1 ball and 1 strike to Mathis. It's inside 2-1.
Joe, you talked a lot about situational hitting, and we've seen some really good situational hitting this year so far this spring. And just to see Chatham drive the ball to right center with the bases loaded, infield in, That's a really nice piece of hitting. And is that something that you and Joe Dillon have talked about a lot this spring?
Yeah. You know, it's a lot of Joe Dillon, but I've always thought that with runners in scoring position, if you think about driving the ball to the middle of the field, right? If you're a little late on the fastball, you hit the right center gap. If you're a little early on a breaking ball, you got a chance to hit the left center gap. If you're thinking pull the fastball, a lot of balls are going to end up going underneath your bat. You're going to swing and miss at the breaking balls. So he's had 2 good approaches. He lounged it to right field and didn't get rewarded for it. Did he get hit?
It sounded like
we'll go to replay.
It sounded like
hand.
It.
Yeah.
We'll let you know if we get the replay.
Yeah. I'm thinking he just wants to hit with the bases loaded. He's like, no, it didn't hit me. It didn't hit me.
All right, we're looking at it right now. No, I don't think it did.
Ooh,
Hurry up, I gotta tell Phil.
I think it did. I think it did get him. Just a little,
you do?
just grazed him. Yeah, I think it just grazed him.
Gosh, your eyes are better than mine.
He's got glasses on.
Ex-hitter.
3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. And 1 away with the runners at third, second, and first. And Nick Maton will come up. Maton is first
Nick
time
had a
up.
nice game yesterday.
Yeah. It's nice that you get a chance to look at those guys.
Base. Yeah, this is great because these are the guys that are closest. You know, if somebody goes down, that we need to look and understand, you know, where they have success and where they don't. Made a great play at third base yesterday and had a hit. And I believe he ended up scoring a run. So just a really good day.
What do you think his best position is, Joe?
You know, I haven't seen him enough to make that opinion. I think he's versatile, though. You know, so I think he's one of those guys that could play all over the diamond. And he's going to do a pretty good job, which in today's game, it's kind of something that you want because you think about it, there's a lot of days the shortstop doesn't play on the shortstop side a lot if there's a lot of left-handed hitters. So you have to be able to kind of play both, you know, and then you have to have the arm strength when you shift the other way with right-handed hitters that you're deep in the hole. And I think he has the ability to play all over the diamond.
Oh, he's ahead 2 balls and no strikes. As Wojciechowski's up to 39 pitches and fouls it back. It's 2-1.
Joe, when you first broke in as a manager,
I would think this would be his last hitter.
Yeah.
When you first broke in as a manager, they, you know, everybody kind of, you had like 8 or 9 guys that you played every day, and you went with that. Have you seen when did you see the change when versatility became more and more important?
Oh, wow. I'm going to say, you know, shortly after I broke in, I want to say about 2010 is when it started to become more important. I remember Gary Dembo was the field coordinator for the Yankees, and I told him, I said, you got to create a Brock Holt for me. And a guy that can play all over the field, and it was Tyler Wade. That was the first one they created. You know, he's shortstop by trade, but he plays second, you know, third. He's a pinch runner. He plays short. And because I thought it was really important that we had that versatility, and I think all the clubs look for it now.
That ball is smoked. That's a fair ball going to the corner. 1 is in. Here comes Odubel. He'll score. Chatham's being waved home. The throw to the plate is not in time. That's a bases clearing double for Nick Maton.
Really nice piece of hitting right here.
Good job, Odubel.
Gets a high fastball and he just turns on it. Drives it all, 3 runs in.
You okay?
Joe doing some assessing. Is he okay, Joe?
He says he is. You know, when you're trying to make a team, you don't always tell the truth. Been there.
That was a beautiful swing by Maton. That's it for Wojciechowski. So he'll exit. Abreu's coming in, one of the Yankees' top 20 prospects. We're going to stay here during the pitching change. So Abreu will warm up.
Where did we got to go?
Yeah, really. You're soaking in the sun down there in Clearwater. We hit 50
You're
yesterday.
soaking in some probably. I heard that.
Yeah.
You know, some I don't know, maybe 80-watt, 100-watt light bulb.
That's about right.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
3-way ball, maybe 150 and 50, 100, 150.
I would think that it's closer to that. Yes. That's what Joe's
or is
looking
it
at.
fluorescence up above you?
There are
some of those.
I guess the TV lights are considered fluorescent.
You're no stranger to those. You know, you worn a lot of hats, Joe.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Well, if you're in the managerial business, that happens. You got to wear some different hats because there's some breaks sometimes.
Joe,
Not asked for, but they just happen.
are you out on the beach or are you inland?
No, I'm close to the beach, but I'm not much of a go on the beach guy. I think I went once all of last year. I have yet to make it this year. So the one day I did go, that was fantastic. It was later in the evening, and I went, you know, kind of away from everywhere it was, and I went run on the beach. And
Nice.
I'm a big dog guy, and all these people had their dogs out, and they were throwing their tennis balls in the water, and the dogs were running in. It was awesome.
Sounds like heaven.
Pretty close to it.
We are jealous here.
All right, so Abreu.
Well, you know, yesterday was interesting because it was freezing in our ballpark, and it was beautiful in Lakeland.
Oh, really?
It was just a weird day. Yeah, it was cold here and windy. And then Lakeland, we got there, and it was great. And I was like, man, that's weird.
It did.
That
did
looked pretty hard.
It did. He does throw hard, according to the scouting report. One of the top 20 prospects for the Yankees. We're looking at the golf right now, Joe. We've got a camera out there, so we're watching people play soccer out on the beach right now. So.
Really?
Yeah.
That's got to be tough. That's got to be some serious conditioning, right? Chasing that ball in the sand.
Yeah, these dudes look like they can handle it. All right, so Abreu's out there, and Luke Williams, who you're going to have play all day today, right? He's going to play. He's going to move over to third base at some point today.
Yes, it looks like that's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, good swing.
Yeah, 98 is what our gun says on that first pitch.
Is that it?
I mean, it did look like it was even harder than that.
It sounded harder than that.
Everybody throws 98, though, it seems, coming out of bullpens these days. Williams flied out to right field in his first at-bat. Maton's at second. He cleared the bases with a double. And that ball's pulled past the diving Urshela down the left field line. Another run will score. And Williams will pull into second base. He can run, so you got to be careful. He'll pull into second base with an RBI double. Well, Joe, you got to be happy about these approaches today. This is a really good
Attaboy, Nick.
inning, and this is a really good game offensively.
Yeah, I was giving our hitting coaches a hard time because I think the first 3 games we scored 2.
Yes.
Right, 2, 2, and 2, and then we got 4 yesterday. And I came back today before we were walking out, and I got all over Charlie. I said, Charlie, I expect you to do more today, Charlie Manuel. I
Have a chat with Chuck.
He told me he had me. He told me he had me.
There we're showing Chuck right now. It is actually nice to see him there, Joe. I mean, I know you and he have known each other for a while, but it's nice to see him and even Larry Boa there around the cage every day.
Well, I love having them. I mean, they're such great teachers, and Charlie has so much knowledge about managing the game, as well as Larry has a ton of knowledge about managing the game, playing the game. Charlie, the hitting, Larry, the defense. He's always working with our infielders. It is great. And the stories they tell, they're priceless. We sit in the clubhouse every day and just sit and listen to them.
I heard you say that the other day as that ball gets past Higashioka and over to third base goes Williams. I heard you say that the other day, and I was glad you said that because it is true. I mean, we're privy to it for a number of years, but it is true. Their stories are unbelievable.
I mean, Charlie talks about his days in Japan and all the things, and Larry talks about his days. And you think about in Philly, these guys are legendary, right? So there's just the stories they have are just great to listen to.
Yeah, they're baseball lifers. I mean, you know the feeling as well. I mean, you're a baseball lifer as well, but just having them around has got to be invaluable to not just the players, but also the coaching staff, right?
Definitely. I mean, our coaching staff, we're picking their brains all the time too, talking to them. And as you said, Charlie's in the cage all the time. Larry's on the infield all the time. He's been working with Chatham a lot, about, talk to him about staying down, in his ground balls. And they're relentless. The joke he had the other day that if the other day he told Nick if he didn't get any hits, right, he had 300 ground balls the next day, right? So Nick was like 0 for 1, right? So the next day he's out on the half field in the morning. I said, Nick, what number is that? He said 262. I'm almost there.
So great. And he'll make you stay with it too. He'll hold you accountable for it too.
That's right.
Well, I will tell you that I have a.
And that's the great thing.
Go ahead, Joe.
Ahead.
Go ahead, Joe.
That's the great thing, is the accountability factor. They're going to make sure that you're doing your work all the time.
Yeah. That's
I did get a chance to talk to both those guys, both Charlie and Larry, and they said they've been having a blast down there. So it's sounds like it's a great atmosphere going on.
Yes, it is great. And imagine how much the game has changed, right? 3-2 to the leadoff hitter.
Yep.
Right? You throw a 98, 99, you're going to try to drop a breaking ball out. I mean, back in the day, they would have been all over you, right? You throw 98, but guys hit it now. That's the amazing thing, is guys are so used to seeing it now that now it's not such a big deal.
Well, here's Hoskins with runners on first and third. And Joe, I don't know how you felt, but we were in awe of the swing Reese had his last time up when he lined out to the wall in left center field. I mean, just because of the injury, it was nice to see.
Oh, he if the wind's not blowing in, that ball's out. And the great thing about it is, Reese is like big brother to Scotty Kingery, right? And
yes.
Scotty's ball went out. Reese is like, I got a long ride home tonight. And then he was yelling at our strength coaches that the ball didn't go out. So, and I think that's the one of the most important things about the game is you got to have fun.
Yes.
Right? I mean, this game will eat you up if you don't have fun. These guys are all over each other. It's great.
Well, because you're at the ballpark all day, you're around each other all day, so you got to make it. You got to make it that way. It's 99, 2-1.
So Scotty's one up on him on the way home tonight.
You're getting a look at Scott in center field a little bit too. I know that you said that he's part of that competition, but he also is going to play other places too. I thought his reactions I've always loved in center field, Kingery, and I thought today there were a couple baseballs where you saw that athleticism in those reactions.
Yeah, I think he looks natural out there to me. I think he's really comfortable out there, and I think he reads the ball well. I think he goes and gets the ball well. And obviously we're going to see him tested more and more over time, but I mean, he looks like a center fielder to me.
I think in Arizona in his first year or so, I believe he might have been playing the outfield or did so in high school, and then he brought him.
That's right.
They brought him back into the infield, and he played more second base in Arizona before we drafted him. But always been a good athlete. Yeah,
he's a really good athlete. He can run. He gets good jumps on ball. He's got a good arm. It's interesting. I would watch him turn double plays last year, and I would say his turning of the double play was as quick as anyone around. So there's a lot of good things in there, and the big thing is that he gets back to who he was offensively, and he becomes a force again.
3-2 to Reese. Runner goes from first, pitches line to right center field. An RBI base hit. Hazley goes to third. Boy, that is really good to see.
Yeah, that's one of the things. I mean, go ahead, Joe.
2 great at bats, right?
Yeah. 2
great at bats, and I'm thinking Scotty's probably chalking that one up. Oh, nice punch and Judy. This guy's a little more ammo.
Well, that was certainly one of the things that stood out to me at the end of the year last year is how much he was using that part of the field. Just a really nice piece of hitting. They're showing the replay here, Joe, and he just stays with the fastball, stays on it, tries not to do too much to it, and drives it to right field as a little kind of Alec Boehmish.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, right, all these guys provide the power for you if you get the barrel to it, right? And when you did that replay, I was kind of looking down, and I heard the sound of the bat, and I thought Scotty hit a ball. I kind of panicked, thinking that I wasn't paying attention.
I have definitely been there.
So warn me first, right?
Yeah, I have definitely been there where your head's turned and you hear the crack of the bat. All right, so 8-0.
Oh.
Watch that elbow.
Well, we know that Reese can dive now.
Thank goodness we were practicing it earlier, right? He's been doing his dives, right?
But there was a pad there, right, before.
There was.
The ground's a little different than the pad.
Yeah, there was. Pulled foul.
Every day, you know that? Happens every day. Guy hits a ball between his legs. Right? You don't see a lot, but every day.
That's hysterical. 0-2 to Kingery. Kingery has scored twice today. He homered his first time, reached on the error his last time. Joe, we going 7 today?
We've been hitting for a while here.
Yeah.
We've been hitting for a while here.
We're almost 50 pitches in this inning. Swing and a miss. That's the 48th
We're supposed to go
pitch.
8 today.
8 today. I love
Yeah.
that we're switching it up. I wasn't going to ask you because I was going to just kind of go with it and see what happened, but since we had you, I figured I'd ask.
Well, I'd hate for you to check out in the bottom of the 7th.
No,
you know,
no, no.
after the bottom of the 7th.
I'm focused until you give that wave. I look for your wave, and that's it, and then I go.
Yeah.
All right, Bohm up for the second time this inning. He walked and scored his first time up.
Oh.
Watch out. And it's 1 ball, no strikes.
Joe, in this early part of the spring, I know you got a long way to go and a lot of evaluation to do, but anybody that's like stuck out to you that you were kind of surprised about, anybody on the mound or anybody that I guess offensively that you've kind of been surprised by?
Oh. You know, that's interesting. I've been impressed by Mickey Moniak's at bats. I think that Adam Hazley's at bats have been really good in spring training.
That's
really
cool.
good. You know, I think he's driving the ball more than he did, you know, last year. You know, so I mean, this is obviously our best offensive output, but I've been happy with at bats. I haven't seen us chase. You know, Gene Segura's had some impressive at bats, you know, where he hasn't chased. So I like what we're doing. I think Joe Dillon does a tremendous job in preparing our players for what they're going to see in the game in the cage. He has all these different drills that he does, velocity drills, breaking ball drills. He even throws, right?
Yeah.
Where he throws all kind of different pitches. So I think Joe does a great job of preparing our guys.
That's cool. Joe, any idea about Harp, when we might see him? Do you have any plans the next couple of days?
Yeah, I got to check in at the end of the day.
Okay.
We're thinking in the next few days.
Cool.
But
Boy, he crushed that
because
one.
if you're going to give me 9 spots all the time, right, I'm not going to have to do much.
That's true.
Attaboy.
That's funny.
Attaboy, Reese.
People are
Attaboy.
wondering where all the power that Alec Bohm was going to have, but he's such a good hitter that, and you talked about it before. He's able to, you know, make good solid contact through the middle of the field. Stays right on this little breaking ball and just stays right through it and drives it dead center. Beautiful swing.
And he's bigger and stronger than he was last year, right?
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I've noticed. Just as the ball in BP off his bat is more than it was last year. And he's just starting to fill out. I mean, this is a tall, lanky kid. But in saying that, when a guy starts to fill out, defensively, I think he's better too, right? So I think he's quicker. I think he's moving better. So that extra weight has not hurt him.
Yeah, he said that too. He said he feels like he's the strength in his legs because of the extra weight has made him a better defender over at third base. At least he feels that way.
Any right-handed hitters like this young that you've seen this advanced, this young, Joe? You can compare him to?
Man, that I can compare. I'm trying to think of like some great right-handed hitters that were like, you know, I thought Mookie Betts was a great young right-handed hitter.
Yep.
The way he used the whole field, the way he was able to hit every pitch that you threw up there, a breaking ball, a changeup, it didn't matter. I thought he was really impressive. You know, I think Juan Soto from the left side is able to use the whole field. Here's these great, fun pop-ups.
Oh, he stayed with it. He made the catch. Joe, 57 pitches,
Guys,
31 minutes.
Great. You were great.
Outstanding. Outstanding
You're
stuff.
an excellent manager today. That inning.
I just think Kinsler's been warming up for 45 minutes, though. So we'll see what he's got left.
All right, Joe. Thanks, buddy. We appreciate it. We'll talk
Thanks,
to you tomorrow.
guys. All right.
We'll go to the top of the 5th. 11-0. Baseball is brought to you by Nissan. Catch the thrill of the drive. Nissan sales event now. Make contact with your local Nissan store today. 9 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning for the Phillies. They send 12 men to the plate.
We're going to have to bring Joe on a little bit more often.
Absolutely.
Get that kind of output.
You know, one of the things that stands out, I think, Rube, I don't know about you, but just the way he reacts to everything. And I know he's used to it because he did TV, but he's also managing right now.
Right.
But I thought that I think that part of it is really cool.
Yeah, as we talked about, he's worn a lot of hats. He's been in the game a long time.
You saying he's old?
Oh, he's just, player. He was. We're all getting a little older.
Yeah, we are.
Longer tooth. I just think that having been a catcher and watching the game from that perspective, and then managing and doing all the things that he did as a bench coach, as a manager, and those sorts of things. I mean, he's been around some really, really tremendous baseball people, and anytime he manages the New York Yankees, get an opportunity to win a World Series, you've been through the wars a little bit.
Yeah. Brandon Kinsler, the new pitcher for the Phillies. There's some other changes too. Derek Hall's in left. Rojas is in center. Mickey Moniak's in right. Duran is over at first, which means Williams moves over to third. And Miguel Andujar is the hitter for the Yankees. He's up for only the 2nd time today.
It's because these guys have been dealing.
Yeah, they have. Matt Moore, 2 innings, scoreless. Vince Velasquez, 2 dominating innings. And Duhar sends one in the air to center field. And 1 out. Former MLB player and Phillies broadcaster Kevin Franzen, and he's also an Excel whiz, by the way, in the computer program in Excel, talks all things baseball on his popular podcast Pine Tar for Breakfast. No topics are off limits as Kevin takes a deep dive into the world of baseball with VIP guests, including current players, coaches, and alumni. Visit Phillies.com/podcast for details and tune-in information. He's cut down on my basketball prep time because he has taken my scorebook and made it into a computer program.
Right.
He's cut down on my basketball prep time by hours.
He's helped me with all types of websites. I mean, he's well prepared.
Hysterical.
No wonder he gets the big promo.
That's right.
And before this inning gets away with us, this is an interesting signing for the Phillies. Not only is it a big, huge plus for their bullpen, but the fact that they got him under a minor league contract. Does not have a major league contract. And the fact that Kinsler signed a minor league contract, he had a chance to sign a major league contract and did not.
I think Bryce Harper had something to do with that too. Said hey to his buddy, hey, why don't you come join me in Philadelphia, which is good.
No, it's great, and I guess it tells you a lot about the player, because he has a lot of confidence that regardless of what happens, he's gonna be making this team somehow. Really good changeup right there. He's that's one of those pitches that's become very popular and very effective. You never used to throw righty changeups, and that's been real effective. When you throw it in the inside part of the plate, hitters just do not recognize it very well because they react to the fastball inside, right?
It's kind of what Matt Moore was saying. Now, he's obviously left-handed, but what he was saying about throwing his secondary pitches in more hitter counts where it's not expected and against hitters that he would not normally do it against.
Yeah, I was talking to George Volandi. He said that in one of his BP sessions, he threw a changeup to Bryce Harper and made him look not too good. He said he's pretty impressed by the fact that he was using it lefty on lefty even.
2 balls and 1 strike. Kinsler had a scoreless inning the other day at Baycare Ballpark. 36 years old. That is a good off-speed pitch.
I think Dave Dombrowski did an excellent job of kind of retooling that bullpen with so many different veteran and to get veteran arms. I think it's that's crucial. I mean, you have your Connor Brogdons, and Neris has been around a little while. He's not an old guy by any means, but certainly having some veterans there who have been through the wars, that's pretty special. And there's an excellent fastball. He froze him on an inside part of the plate there after throwing some pretty darn good changeups.
Phillies pitchers are racking up the strikeouts. That's 7 today. We go to the bottom of the 5th. It's 11-zip Phils. Time now for our Citizens Stats Leaders, brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the Phils. And last year, the Yankees 33-27, 7 games behind the Rays. Rays won 40 games last year.
How impressive was that?
They were very impressive, went on to the World Series. It's a heck of a division. It really is. It's an entertaining division.
It's a grinder. That AL East is always a grind. It's like that knockdown, drag-out fight every single game.
All right, so bottom of the 5th inning. It's 11-0 Phillies on top.
Actually, the NL East may very well be like that this year as well.
You know, we mentioned at the outset today that Aaron Boone, the manager of the Yankees, is not with them. He had a procedure yesterday to have a pacemaker put in. And this is the comment that he released. And we've been exchanging text messages with Aaron. He's doing great. He said, "My faith is strong and my spirits are high. I'm in a great frame of mind because I know I'm in good hands with the doctors and medical staff here. They are confident that today's surgery, which was yesterday, will allow me to resume all of my usual professional and personal activities and afford me a positive long-term health prognosis without having to change anything about my way of life." And, you know, we've told Aaron this, and we said it earlier. We are so happy to hear that he's home, resting comfortably, and is hopefully going to be back with the Yankees very soon.
Yeah, get well soon. I think he's listened to us, isn't he?
He is.
And he said he's critiquing us.
He's critiquing you. He's not going to. C.J. Chatham is the hitter, and facing Lucas Litke.
Got a chance to know Aaron for a long time. I obviously well wishes to him. He's pretty special family, but very special young man, and we hope he gets back on the field and doing his duties here as soon as possible.
And I also appreciate the fact that he just helped me out with Lucas's last name. I appreciate that very much. Chatham, his last time up, reached on an RBI single off the wall in right center field. We will see some of the Phillies changes continue as this half inning and the next half inning get rolling. It'll be Chatham and then Mathis that are scheduled to start this off.
Yeah, I've been real impressed, Tom, by Chatham's at bat so far today. He used the right center on a line drive that was caught out there by Socrates, but Socrates Brito, and then really a nice piece of hitting with the bases loaded, and he drove that ball to center field. Had a chance to add on to his RBI total, but really good 2 pieces of hitting. In fact, that's been going on the entire game for the Phillies.
He was acquired by the Phillies for a player to be named later from the Boston Red Sox organization. He did not play last year, obviously, because of COVID. He didn't have anywhere to go, alternate site or anything like that. He'll be replaced at some point today by Luis Garcia, the slick fielding shortstop in the Phillies farm system. The payoff pitch to him, swing and a miss, and 1 out.
Pretty good breaking ball by the left-hander. I'm sure they want to get their fielders off the field after having been out there for what, about 45 minutes last inning.
Here's this pitch.
That's the old back knee breaking ball, or back ankle breaking ball. It's a tough one to pick up.
So now Mathis. Mentioned that Mathis is friends with JT Realmuto. And a swing and a miss, and it's 0-1. JT said, first and foremost, Mathis is an amazing catcher, and I think we all would agree with that. I mean, he's been around for a long time. and defensively is outstanding. He works with the staff in an awesome way. He's the exact person you want in the role of being a backup catcher. He said it's impressive that he can be this way at 36. In fact, now 37. And he did say, he goes, I pick his brain as much as I can. He said he looks as good as he did when he was in his late 20s physically. And that's part of what JT's picked his brain about often, is the longevity of being able to be out there on a consistent basis. And that, by the way, was a pretty good pitch that was called a ball. Wait, did he call it a strike?
I think he called it a ball.
That was a really good pitch.
It should have been a strike both ways, probably. But there's no question that that Mathis, he's one of those guys that that you're always seeking to find if you are in the front office or if you're one of the managers of a club, because he's a guy that's so steady back there. He's got a great reputation. He takes care of himself, obviously, physically. And people don't realize how difficult it is to catch that long in the big leagues. You really have to take care of yourself. Now, he has not been an everyday catcher for his entire career, but he was early. But for him to be able to stay in that kind of shape and to continue to perform at that level, it's not easy, particularly for that position.
3 balls and 1 strike to Mathis. That one's pulled over to short. And Mathis will reach. That went right off the leg of Andrew Velasquez.
And really
now playing shortstop.
Yeah, really ate him up right there. I think the fact that it was hit off the end of the bat a little bit froze Velasquez, and then he ended up getting in between and couldn't really handle it. You see him freeze right there. Didn't move his feet all that well, and then he got locked up and put himself in a excuse me. Put himself in a no man's land and couldn't make the play.
Maton swing and a miss at the first pitch. Garcia will come on to pinch run for Mathis. And then go in to play shortstop. That's in there, and it's 0-2. I had to make sure we saw that it was Garcia because, as I said the last telecast, he has physically gotten so much bigger. And I think that's going to just help his hitting. 0-2 to Maton, who had the 3-run extra base hit his last time. First base is occupied, so he will not advance, but Garcia will advance to second. So a strikeout.
First baseman, Luke Williams.
Lucas Littke is a 33-year-old out of Rice University. That's where he was selected originally. Made it to the big leagues in 2012 with the Mariners. Pitched in 63 games that year. Had a 3.98 ERA. Originally taken by the White Sox and then taken again by the White Sox before eventually the Brewers selected him out of Rice, and that's where he eventually signed.
Realized he had been around that long.
Left-hander Brew, they can stay around a little
point.
longer than most people.
Left-handers and backup catchers like Jeff Mathis.
That's exactly right. Luke Williams doubled his last time. It's a strike. 0-2.
Get a nice piece of hitting by Luke Williams last time out. Blazing fastball, and then the next pitch was a breaking ball. He stayed right on it, drove it down the left field line.
Yeah, the Phillies with 11 runs, and depending on what they score, the ball off the bat of Mathis, which they haven't yet. Right now, 9 hits and a swing and a miss. Littke with 3 strikeouts in the inning. He showed a really good breaking ball. We've played 5. We're on to the 6th inning. Phillies up 11-0.
Fans, be sure and hold on to your
Leaders brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the Phils. And we'll get to that in a moment. But first, our All-Star Teacher Contest. 10 area teachers will be selected. You submit your nomination by 5 p.m. on March 19th. We said this the other day. That is going to be a tough competition this year. With the pandemic the last year, teachers were always our All-Stars. But man, oh man, have they taken it to another level. So make sure you go to Phillies.com. Submit your Teacher All-Star nomination as soon as you can. Brian Mitchell is the new pitcher for the Phils. There's some changes the Phillies have. Cabral is catching. Bryson Stott is at second base. Garcia stays in the game and is at shortstop. And the Phillies fans, about a little more than 2,000 on hand at Baycare Ballpark, getting a chance to enjoy the sunshine. A little cooler there today. Game time temperature was 68 degrees.
You're getting a chance to watch great baseball, great weather, and a barrage of offense.
A barrage of offense.
Barrage.
Frenchie's is open for business. I don't know if Greg West is performing afterward or not. All right, so here we go. Top of the 6th inning. And Socrates Brito will lead it off against Brian Mitchell, a former Yankee.
He had a real nice outing his last time out. In fact, Joe was pretty impressed talking about that.
Yep.
Nice to see these guys continue to pitch. They've absolutely been lights out so far today.
Inside, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Overall, the Phillies pitchers have 7 strikeouts today. In fact, Mitchell pitched for the Yankees when Joe Girardi was there. In fact, got into a game where he pitched and played first base because they were getting to a point in the game where they had to bring him back after playing first base.
Little razzle dazzle there.
Yeah.
Is it Joe Madden-esque?
He dropped a foul pop, the first batter that was up. Rojas out in center field, guarding his eyes from the sun, makes the catch.
Not a routine play right there. That's that high sky makes everything difficult in there.
Keep track of your Phils all season with Phillies Talk Podcast. Listen online, on your phone, wherever you find your podcasts. Brought to you by Team Toyota.
Tom, we had to move one of our pitchers around the field once or twice.
Yeah. In fact, that was Roy Oswalt who they had to do that to, left field. Charlie had no choice but to do it because Ryan Howard was thrown out of a game for arguing with Scott Barry back in 2010. 14th inning. That's funny. He even made a catch. Velasquez is played out in the outfield as Mitchell gets Estrada to strike out. And there are 2 outs.
Nice combination. Really good breaking ball prior, and then he throws a high fastball. Prior to this pitch, he throws him a breaking ball, and he doesn't recognize it very well. Then he comes back with the live fastball up out of the zone for the swing and miss. Lots of strikeouts for the pitchers today.
Yeah. Here's Ryan Lemaire, who's up for the first time. Was in the big leagues with the Twins in 2019. 95 on the outside corner.
Ryan seems to show up almost every year as an extra outfielder, getting an opportunity. He's a very good outfielder. He's one of those rare right-handed hitting, left-handed throwing outfielders with a triple plus arm.
Oh, really?
Oh, he's got an amazing arm. He was with Boston the 1 year I think I was coaching.
That one's off the hands, looped out towards center. That'll drop in for a base hit. So that's the first hit for the Yankees since the second, and it's only the second hit overall.
Yeah, as we said, I mean, the pitchers have just been outstanding, filling up the strike zone, getting swings and misses, setting up hitters really well. It's almost like they're in midseason form. We can move this game into April, we'll be fine.
Seriously. Armando Alvarez has taken over at third base for Urshela. Swing and a miss. Joe mentioned before this game is scheduled to go 8 innings today. And a breaking ball inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Alvarez, 26 years old. Yankees took him in the 17th round out of Eastern Kentucky. At the knees, 1-2.
So one thing I've been real impressed by all day long is that they're not just the fact that they're throwing strikes, but where they're throwing strikes. Pretty good location today. Not just control, but command as well. There's another example. He calls for the fastball inside, gets it, runs it up and into his hands, throws it exactly where the glove was.
Yeah, Mitchell's not fooling around here either. I mean, it's 95, 95, 95.
Trying to make a club.
Well, you mentioned it before. The Phillies have brought in some of the veterans. Mitchell last pitched in the big leagues in 2018 with the Padres. He made 11 starts, 16 appearances overall.
And there really is something to the fact that he did pitch for Joe in the past and has had some success with him, because there is a familiarity. Joe knows exactly what to expect him, knows his makeup a little bit. That does make a difference. I mean, he's going to have to earn his way onto the club. There's no question about that, but it does make a difference.
Breaking ball. Nice job by Cabral to block it. 2-2. Catching depth has just evolved for the Phillies. And who knows how many will make it to the big leagues, but they have some depth and some solid receivers. Bob Stumpo handles the catchers along with Dusty Wathan. Said that Ernie Witt's done an unbelievable job. Ernie's the catching instructor for the Phillies, has done an unbelievable job of bringing these kids along from the farm system.
Yeah, Ernie's obviously had a ton of experience. You know, long-time catcher in the major leagues in Toronto, and a coach there as well, I believe. And so, but he's been an instructor, and he loves his job. I mean, he's one of those guys that you know, some people will really want to be in the big leagues and be a big league coach, but I think he really enjoys developing young players, and he's done an outstanding job with some of these kids.
I was talking to Bob the other day. We all know, I mean, everybody knows how much we love Bob Stumpo, Westchester's own. He said that with Ernie, he said developing them, teaching them the game, how to be a professional. He said these kids come up and go right into a big league spring training game, and they act and make it look like they've been doing it for some time.
There's a lot to be said for that, because it's obviously the most, to me, is still the most important position on the field as far as position players are concerned.
Yeah.
And to get kids to buy into that part, the defensive part, is not easy, because everyone wants to be an offensive player. To have them buy into the importance of what it is to be a good defensive catcher.
Well, he went around. Armando Alvarez did. And that'll be the second strikeout of the inning for Mitchell. Seems to be a recurring theme for the Phillies pitchers today.
Looking for a great local craft beer.
We swear.
Time now for our Toyota turning points, and the turning points today have been the offense by the Phillies. This is Chatham. This is a long single. He thought it was a double. He had to put the brakes on. That scored one. And then how about Maton ripping this one to right field? Williams pulls that one down the left field line. That's not it, though. Rhys Hoskins the other way. It's a great sign for a number of reasons. And now Bohm right to center field. All right, so you wonder about Bohm's power. There's his power.
No
Center
question.
of the diamond.
No question, and that's the beauty of what he's got going on with his swing. He's able to drive the ball to all parts of the field, and his power will come. That what we call that man strength. It's going to be coming soon, and when it does, it's going to be lights out for a lot of pitchers in the National League.
Mickey Moniak leads it off. The count is no balls and one strike. Reggie McClain played for the Phillies last year, is the new pitcher for the Yankees. On the outside corner, 0-2. Not a bad pickup for the Yankees. The Phillies wanted to keep Reggie McClain. They were just making roster moves left and right, and they needed the 40-man spot. Phillies bullpen obviously was historically one of the worst in baseball last year, and Reggie was part of that from time to time. That's the pitch right there. He's got a really good breaking ball. I mean, you saw he was in mid-90s, but he's got a good breaking ball too.
Again, it's all about the command of that fastball, because that breaking ball becomes that much more effective if you're throwing your fastball in the right spot. And they've been real impressed by what they've seen with Mickey Moniak this year, the way he's handled himself and how relaxed he's been.
He pulls that one down the right field line. That is going to be long gone. Moniak, a home run to start the bottom of the 6th inning. It's 12-0 Phillies.
I got to tell you, this is an unbelievable piece of hitting. He was so short with his swing right here, and that's one of the things I think that has kind of catapulted him over the last year or so as far as his development is concerned. Really sure with a swing. Good, hard fastball inside, and he gets to it quickly. In a two-strike situation, just short, quick, boom. Smokes that ball to right field and lets the wind do the rest of the work. Probably would have been out of anywhere. That was up on 19 almost. Huh?
Got a chance to play in the big leagues last year. And Joe Girardi said that he's, a little calmer this year, and that's going to help him. Here is the multi-talented Christian Bethancourt.
He can do it all.
He can. Can catch. He can pitch.
He's always had an unbelievable arm, and I guess he had an opportunity to get on the mound, I guess, with the Padres at some point.
He did. Pitched in 6 different games for the Padres. Was considered during different points of his minor league career as the best catching prospect in baseball.
With the Braves?
Yeah.
Remember him coming up and just great actions back there, and obviously maybe what we call an 80 arm, maybe one of the best arms in all of baseball. Stands the reason why they put him on the mound.
Yeah.
He never really could get it going offensively, but hey, sometimes you got to think of other ways to utilize people's abilities, right?
Yeah, in 17 when he pitched for the Padres in 4 games, he did give up 6 earned runs in very limited action, and it was command more than anything else as he was learning how to do it. Ground ball left side, and Velasquez will throw him out. 2 away, or 1 away. Phillies baseball is brought to you by your Philadelphia area local Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDealer.com. Along with Ruben Amaro, I'm Tom McCarthy. Phillies putting a little offense together today. 12 runs on 10 hits. They lead at 12-0. And Rojas will be the hitter after the ground out by Bethancourt.
You get excited about the offense, but I'm really impressed by the pitching. That is going to make or break the Phillies this year, and we know it's going to be a good offensive club. They're going to put runs on the board, but pitching and defense is, I think, what are going to be able to carry them. And if they can improve in both those areas, they got a chance to do some real damage in the NL East.
That ball goes over the head of the first baseman, and Rojas can run, and he'll get to second base easily.
Rojas, he strikes out on this pitch, but he busts it down the line, and catcher was kind of a little nonchalant to get there to make the throw, but didn't clear himself to get out into the playing field.
Little dribbler, Ruth. Little dribbler.
Oh, it was a dribbler.
Yeah, a little dribbler.
Is that what it was? Had a bad angle over here.
Yeah, you were blocked out. Rob Brentley's throw sailed. Rodolfo Duran is the hitter. 6 home runs in this ballpark in 2019. So we get a miss. 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Duran, another one of those catchers this past year in winter ball. He played in 7 games. And as I said the other day, for all these players that got a chance to play winter ball, thank goodness, as he swings through that breaking ball just to get an extra, a few extra swings.
No, it's just been so difficult. You have to feel for the young players in the game today who are playing professionally at the minor league level. They're just not getting an opportunity to get reps and to play. And you're certainly hopeful that, I know that they've pushed the AAA season back about a month now, but it sounds like they're going to start opening some things up, and we're all looking for some normalcy here. But certainly for these players, they're just not getting a chance to play and develop. They have to play. They absolutely have to play to get better. It's different from any other sport, professional sport in my mind, in that these guys just have to play more to continue to develop. And if they don't get a chance to be out on the field and competing against other teams, it just makes it very, very difficult to continue to get better in your craft.
Derek Hall swings over that pitch, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Hall has been over the last several years, one of the big home run hitting prospects in the Phillies organization. In 2019, he had 20 home runs for Reading in the Eastern League. He combined for 26 the year before. Playing a little outfield today, and he ripped that one out to right field, and a diving grab by Trey Ambergy, and the side is retired. Home run though by Moniak gives the Phils a 12-0 lead. Time now for your Delaware Valley Honda Dealers game summary. Well, the offense has come alive for the Phillies today. They scored 9 runs in the 4th inning. They lead at 12-0. But their pitching has been excellent. How about that 4th inning? 6 hits, 9 runs, 12 batters. It had 57 pitches and lasted 31 minutes.
That's some hitting right there.
That's some hitting.
Some barrel work.
And for the Yankees, you know, I know Davy Garcia gave up the home run, but I thought he looked really good. Litke had that great breaking ball for the Yankees. Offensively, though, they've managed only 2 hits today. And here is Ramon Rosso, who we saw the other day in his 2nd appearance this spring. And he'll face the Yankees here in the top of the 7th inning, a game that we're expected to have last 8 innings today. And Chris Gittens will be the hitter for the Yankees. He's playing first base now for New York.
See if Rosso can continue that string of excellent pitching we've had so far.
Pitch up high. It's 1-0. Gittens hit a grand slam earlier this spring, Rube.
So he's making his mark.
He was making his mark. He had 23 home runs in a fantastic ballpark in Trenton, New Jersey. In Double-A in 2019. Legit dimensions.
Yes.
In Trenton.
Sure are.
And it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
That is a great ballpark. You are absolutely correct. It's right down the street from my home for quite some time.
I was there the other day, and the playing surface, the snow had cleared out. Playing surface looked unbelievable. It really did.
Really.
2 balls and 1 strike to Gittens. And it's 2-2. Gittens is 27 years old. The Yankees took him in the 12th round in 2014.
If he keeps putting those numbers up, then he's going to get a chance.
Well, I went back to look at, and they're fairly consistent. 21 home runs in Single-A, and he's down looking there. And then it dipped a little bit the next year in 2017, but then up to 23 in 2019. And now Thomas Malone for the Yankees. That's a good pitch.
Again, looked like he's probably looking for the local. Got the express there, but
yeah,
it's nice to see these guys continue to fill up the strike zone.
Malone's playing left field for the Yankees, and he takes just below the knees. But I think if you're the Phillies, you look at that pitch, Ruben, 95. That's where you would love to see Rosso, even though it's called a ball, but live in that area right there.
Absolutely down in the zone. There's been so much talk about pitching up in the zone and above the bat path that I think you have to use all the quadrants, right? You have to be able to use, you know, glove side, arm side. You have to be able to throw the ball at the top of the zone and work to the bottom of the zone, particularly if you're a sinker type pitcher. But sometimes they're making even sinker pitchers try to throw the ball up in the zone.
Yeah. So Bryson Stott make that play. Phillies' former #1 pick, playing second base for the 2nd time.